Being behind happens to the best of college students, so you don't have to feel bad about it. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what you need to do and focus on to get caught up. So it really is not that big of a deal. You're going to see that getting caught up is just a series of decisions that you make with your brain. I'm going to tell you what those decisions are in this video. I'm going to help you make those decisions. And by the end of this video, you're going to have made those decisions. And those decisions are going to be your catch-up plan, your plan for getting caught up and staying caught up for the rest of the semester. So the way that I break things down to students, by the way, my name is Clarissa. I am the academic life coach for college students. I own a company called She Rocks at College and an academic success program called Educated: The Art of Becoming a Good Student. And I teach my students that succeeding in college just requires three things. You need to make a plan, you need to make a schedule, and you need to stick to it all semester long. And the way that I'm going to break down getting caught up is based off of that framework. So the first decision that you need to make is you need to make the decision that you're going to get caught up no matter what, that you're capable of getting caught up, that it is not a big deal to be behind, that you're going to do whatever is required to get to a point that makes you feel satisfied as a student at this point in the semester, okay? The second decision that you need to make is you need to decide what you need to get caught up on. So I want you to make a list of everything that you're behind on. So whether that's reading, whether that's notes, whether that is homework assignments, whether that is papers, just make a list for every single one of your classes on what you need to get caught up on. Look at your syllabus. See if at this point you can even hand in late work, if it'll be even worth anything. If it merits a conversation with your professor, then I would decide to write that down as something that you need to get done, is either send that email or pop into office hours and have that conversation with your professor. And then just as important as deciding what you need to get done, you also need to decide what you're not going to worry about, because it's either not worth it or it's already too late and you're not going to get any points off. And you just need to have the conversation with yourself that it's okay, that for whatever reason, this is where you are right now and it has no impact on what is going to happen from now until the end of the semester. The third decision that you need to make is how long are you going to give yourself to get each of those things done? So just how do you make a list of everything that you have decided that you are getting caught up on? So next to each and every single one of those items, you need to decide how long you're going to give yourself to get it done. Now, this is going to be a guesstimate, like all things, unless you already have a pretty good idea of how long things take you. So if you already know that it takes you about an hour and a half to read and write notes for a 30-page chapter, then you're going to put hour and a half next to that item on your catch-up list. If you don't know, I want you to just guess, and I recommend giving yourself longer than what you think it might take, because we are terrible guesses at how long things are going to take us. So I would just say double whatever it is that you think it's going to take you. If you think it's going to take you an hour to get through reading and you don't really have any data or proof of that from your own personal experience because you haven't done any reading for this class yet, then give yourself 2 hours, because if you need the 2 hours, then great. And if you don't, then you just give yourself an hour to catch up on something else or relax in between the things that you have to get done for this week. The fourth decision that you are going to need to make is you're going to decide when you're going to do it. So next to each of those items, you wrote down how long you're going to give yourself. So this is where you're going to need to bring out your planner for the upcoming 1 to 2 weeks. I want you to look at everything that's coming up. I want you to look at everything that you are going to be dedicating your time to. So if you're working full-time or part-time, if you have an event that you need to attend, if your kids have things that you're going to be taking them to and from, if you have a gym class that you're going to be attending, a workout class that you're going to be attending, I need you to look at all the things that you have on your plate and that you're deciding to spend time on. And I need you to decide what you're actually going to attend. And then with the time that you have left, that is where you're going to take each and every single one of those items that you wrote down on my need to get caught up on list, and you're going to start plugging it into your calendar. Now, this is going to serve one of two purposes. The first thing is, if it's on your calendar, you're more likely to get it done. The second thing is, it's going to allow you to see whether or not you're going to need to get a little bit more efficient, right? So if you start plugging things into your calendar and you realize, I'm not going to have time to get all of this done this week because there physically isn't enough time, right? Like you're plugging everything into your calendar and there's still a bunch of items left over, right? So what this is going to help you to do is to make some realistic adjustments and decisions about, are you going to push things to the upcoming week? Are you going to ask your husband to drive your kids to and from different events? Are you going to decide not to go to that birthday party? Are you going to request some time off of work, right? This is just going to allow, it gives you enough information for you to decide, how am I going to handle this? What am I going to do about this? What can I realistically let go of? What am I going to decide to let go of? What am I going to ask for some help and support around? What am I going to need to make sure that I get caught up in a way that leaves me feeling at the end of the semester, feeling really proud of myself because I showed up exactly the way that I wanted to show up based off of the circumstances that I'm in right now. So once all of that is in your calendar and you're seeing all of the time that it's going to take and everything it is that it's going to require, this is where you're going to decide how you're going to get it done, right? So I told you that the reason why we plug it into our calendar is for us to see whether it fits, and so that we can make some decisions about how we're going to handle it. So this is why it's really important for you to look at your syllabus again and for you to take a look at where you're at in the semester and whether or not the final is cumulative. Because if it's not, then there's no point in wasting those 10 hours catching up on chapters that are not going to show up on the exam just because you feel like you want to feel like you caught up. Let's just focus on what actually needs to get done. What content will you be focusing on and why? What are you going to be actually completing and why? And when I'm asking you these questions, what I mean is I'm getting caught up in these chapters because the final is cumulative and I'm going to need to know this in order to pass the final. Or I'm deciding to hand in this assignment even though it's 2 weeks behind because I can still get half credit for it. And if I get half credit for it, it's going to boost my grade. You really need to make these decisions strategically, especially if you don't have a lot of time within the next 1 to 2 weeks to get yourself back to where you need to be with the rest of the class, okay? What skills and techniques are you going to be using and why, right? What things are you going to be focusing on and why? Are you focusing on the PowerPoints? Why? Why does that make the most sense? Well, because in the past 2 to 3 exams that I've taken, all of the content for the questions came directly from the PowerPoint. And so instead of spending time reading the textbook and going over the PowerPoint because I need to just get caught up, I'm just going to be focusing on the PowerPoints, right? This is what I mean when I say get strategic about it. So this is where strategy and skill sets come in. Strategy is the reason why you're choosing the PowerPoint over the textbook. Strategy is the reason why you might be choosing to read the textbook over re-listening or rewatching the lecture. Strategy is the reason why you're choosing to skip 7 chapters because it's not going to show up on the next exam, right? Start using that beautiful brain of yours to make these decisions that are going to help you to be where it is that you want to be, okay? So these decisions, right, I'm going to cover them again just so that you have them. So the decision number 1 is that you need to decide to get caught up no matter what, in whatever capacity that means, right? Decision number 2 is you need to decide what you will get caught up on. And I told you what to think about and consider in order to make those decisions. Number 3, you need to decide how long you're going to give yourself to complete each and every single one of those items. Number 4 is you're going to need to look at your schedule over the next 1 to 2 weeks and decide on what date, what time you're going to get those things done so that you know that they're going to get done, and also so that you can make strategic decisions about what you're going to move, what you're going to let go of, what you're going to ask support around, how you're actually going to get these things done, which is decision number 5, right? That strategy piece of it. If you make these decisions, these 5 decisions that I gave you, this is your entire plan to get caught up. This is all you have to focus on. If you want to get some feedback on it, if you want to get my eyes on it, you're more than welcome to put the answers to those decisions that you made in the comments, and I'll be happy to reply to every single one. Like I said, I'm an academic life coach. This is what I do all day, every day with college students inside of my program, Educated the Art of Becoming a Good Student. So if you know that you love this content and you would love to have me support you all semester long, all the way up until you graduate, then that's something that you definitely want to check out.